My older stepsisters made my life hell for years. Then I became their boss. Here is what happened. Let me tell you about the 3 women who tried to destroy me before I turned 18. My name is Michael. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. My father, David, was a construction foreman. Hardworking, quiet. He loved me more than anything in the world. My mother died when I was 7. Ovarian cancer. I remember sitting in the hospital waiting room while my father cried in the bathroom. I didn't understand death yet. I just knew my mom wasn't coming home. For 3 years, it was just me and my dad. We lived in a small 2-bedroom house on the west side of Phoenix. He worked 12-hour days. I learned to cook my own eggs, to do my own laundry, to be alone. Then he met Patricia. Patricia was a widow. She had 3 daughters from her previous marriage. Tiffany, the oldest, 22 when I met her. Mean, cruel. She looked at me like I was a cockroach she wanted to step on. Amber, the middle, 20. Sneaky, manipulative. She would smile at me in front of adults and whisper threats when no one was watching. Courtney, the youngest, 19. Loud, entitled. She broke my things and laughed about it. Patricia was nice to my father. Too nice. She cooked for him. She laughed at his jokes. She held his hand at church. But when he wasn't looking, she ignored me. She forgot to buy food I liked. She accidentally washed my clothes with bleach. She told my father I was difficult and acting out because of my mother's death. My father believed her. He wanted to believe her. He was lonely. He wanted a partner. They got married 6 months after they met. I was 10 years old. The wedding was small. No flowers. No music. Just a judge and a reception at a diner. Tiffany, Amber, and Courtney didn't talk to me. They sat at the other end of the table, whispering, laughing, looking at me with cold eyes. "You're going to regret this," Tiffany whispered when she walked past me. I didn't know what she meant. I learned. The first year of the marriage was okay. My father was happy. Patricia pretended to like me. The stepsisters ignored me. I was okay with being ignored. Then my father got sick. My father was diagnosed with liver cancer when I was 12. The doctor said it was aggressive, that he had maybe 2 years. I watched the strongest man I knew turn into a skeleton. He stopped working. Patricia stopped being nice. She stopped cooking for him. She stopped holding his hand. She started spending his money, his life insurance, his savings, his retirement. "He's dying anyway," I heard her say to Tiffany. "Might as well enjoy it while we can." I was 12. I didn't know what to do. I told my father. He didn't believe me. "She's under a lot of stress," he said. "Be patient with her." I was patient. My stepsisters got worse. They took my room. I moved to the couch. They said I was too young to have my own room anyway. They took my clothes. Amber said they were hand-me-downs from her. They weren't. My mother bought them. They ate my food. Courtney would finish my dinner before I got to the table. Patricia said I should eat faster. I stopped growing. I was hungry all the time. I learned to hide food. A granola bar under my pillow. A bag of chips in my backpack. Crackers in my sock drawer. My teachers noticed I was tired. That my clothes were dirty. That I flinched when people raised their voices. They called Patricia. Patricia said I was acting out because my father was dying. No one investigated. No one helped. My father died 3 weeks before my 14th birthday. I remember standing at his grave. Patricia stood next to me. She wasn't crying. Tiffany, Amber, and Courtney stood behind her, smiling. "What are you smiling at?" I asked Courtney. "Nothing," she said. "Just thinking about the future." The future. Patricia inherited everything. The house, the life insurance, the savings, the retirement, everything my father had worked for. She gave me nothing. "You're not my child," she said. "You're not entitled to anything." I was 14. I had no money, no family, no one to fight for me. I stayed in the house, on the couch, eating after everyone else was done, wearing clothes that didn't fit, going to school exhausted and hungry. Patricia stopped buying food for me entirely when I was 15. She said I was old enough to provide for myself. I got a job at a fast food restaurant, minimum wage. I worked after school and on weekends. I bought my own food, my own clothes, my own school supplies. My stepsister stole from me. Money from my backpack, food from my mini fridge, shoes from my closet. When I confronted Tiffany, she laughed. "What are you going to do about it? Call your dead dad?" I didn't fight back. I couldn't. I was outnumbered, outmatched, alone. Amber told my teachers I was on drugs. She called the school anonymously. I was investigated. Questioned. Searched. They found nothing. But the rumor followed me. Courtney broke my phone. She threw it against the wall during an argument. Patricia said it was an accident. I saved for 3 months to buy a new one. When I was 16, I told Patricia I was leaving when I turned 18. Good, she said. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I counted the days. I turned 18 on a Tuesday. I packed my backpack that night. Clothes. My phone charger. My mother's wedding ring. A photo of my father. I walked out the door at 6 a.m. Patricia didn't say goodbye. Tiffany laughed. Amber smiled. Courtney waved. I slept in my car for the next 3 months. A 2008 Honda Civic with 180,000 miles. I parked at Walmart. At truck stops. At rest areas. I worked 2 jobs. Day shift at a warehouse. Night shift at a gas station. I slept in 4-hour increments. I enrolled in community college. Part-time. I couldn't afford full-time. I took classes in business and accounting. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I didn't want to be poor forever. My car broke down in November. The transmission failed. I couldn't afford to fix it. I was homeless. Not car homeless. Street homeless. I slept at a shelter for 2 weeks. It was dangerous. People stole my things. Someone tried to fight me for a blanket. I learned to sleep with one eye open. A teacher at my community college noticed I wasn't in class. His name was Professor Williams. He was retired military. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Where have you been? He asked. Busy, I said. With what? I didn't answer. He didn't push. He just handed me a $20 bill. Eat something. Then come to my office after class. I went to his office. I told him everything. My father, Patricia, the stepsisters, the shelter, the car, the hunger. He listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't pity me. When I finished, he said, You're going to make it. Not because you're lucky, because you're tough. But you need help. Real help. He connected me with a counselor, a social worker, a food bank, a job training program. He also gave me a place to sleep. His basement. He had a pull-out couch and a bathroom. He said I could stay until I got on my feet. I stayed for 6 months. I worked 3 jobs. I saved every dollar. I bought another car, a 2012 Ford Focus. Not new, but reliable. I passed my classes. I made the dean's list. I transferred to a 4-year university in Los Angeles. University of California. Full scholarship. I didn't know how. Professor Williams had written a letter. Someone in the financial aid office had pulled strings. I cried when I got the acceptance letter. I had never cried from happiness before. I moved to Los Angeles at 20 years old. I had 2 suitcases, a laptop, $500 in savings. I was terrified. I was excited. I was ready. Los Angeles was a different world. Fast, expensive, lonely. I lived in a studio apartment in a bad neighborhood. The kind with bars on the windows and neighbors who shouted at 3 a.m. The rent was cheap. Cheap meant I could afford food. I worked 2 jobs. A coffee shop in the mornings. A bookstore in the evenings. I went to class in between. I slept 4 hours a night. I was exhausted all the time. I failed my first midterm. Economics. I scored a 48%. I sat in the library and stared at the grade. I thought about everything I'd sacrificed. The shelter. The hunger. The 3 jobs. The years of being treated like garbage. And I failed. I almost gave up. I almost walked to the registrar's office and dropped out. I almost went back to Phoenix. Back to the couch. Back to nothing. Then I remember my father. He worked 12-hour days in the Arizona heat. He came home exhausted. He never complained. He never gave up. He would be ashamed of me for quitting. I went to my professor's office hours. I told her I was struggling. I told her I came from nothing. I told her I needed help. She looked at my file. She saw my grades. She saw my background. You're not stupid, she said. You're tired. There's a difference. She helped me. She gave me study strategies. She connected me with a tutor. She believed in me. I passed a class with AB. That semester, I learned something important. Success isn't about being the smartest. It's about being the most stubborn, the most willing to fail and try again, the most hungry. I changed my style, not my clothes, my approach. I stopped trying to do everything alone. I asked for help. I went to office hours. I joined study groups. I found mentors. I started sleeping more. 6 hours a night instead of 4. My grades improved. My mental health improved. My life improved. I also changed my appearance. I bought a few decent shirts at a thrift store. I got a haircut. I stood up straighter. I looked people in the eye. Small changes. Big impact. My professors noticed. My classmates noticed. I started getting opportunities. Internships. Research positions. Networking events. I graduated with honors at 24. Bachelor's degree in finance. Minor in accounting. I was the first person in my family to graduate college. My father would have been proud. My mother would have cried. Patricia didn't attend the graduation. Neither did Tiffany, Amber, or Courtney. They didn't know I existed anymore. I was fine with that. But they would remember me soon enough. I got a job at an investment firm in Dallas, Texas. Entry level. Low pay. Long hours. I didn't care. I was in the door. I worked harder than everyone else. I came in early. I stayed late. I volunteered for the projects no one else wanted. I learned everything I could. My boss noticed. His name was Mr. Henderson. He was a senior partner. 60 years old. Sharp. Demanding. Why do you work so hard? He asked me one day. Because I've been hungry, I said. Literally. I don't want to be hungry again. He didn't say anything. He just nodded. He became my mentor. He taught me the business, the clients, the politics, the secrets. I was promoted after 2 years. Then again after 3. Then again after 5. By the time I was 30, I was a junior partner. By the time I was 33, I was a senior partner. By the time I was 35, I had my own office, my own assistant, my own clients. I was making 7 figures. I had a house in a nice neighborhood, a car that wasn't a Ford Focus, a savings account that didn't make me panic. I was successful, but I wasn't done. Mr. Henderson retired when I was 36. He sold me a share of the firm. I became a managing partner. I had power, influence, money, and I had a memory. I remember Patricia, Tiffany, Amber, Courtney. I remember the couch, the hunger, the stolen money, the broken phone, the lies. I remembered everything. I hired a private investigator, not for revenge, for information. I want to know where they were, what they were doing, who they had become. The report came back. Interesting. Patricia was broke. She had spent all of my father's money. The house was foreclosed. She was living in a small apartment in Phoenix, working as a cashier at a grocery store. Tiffany was divorced. 2 kids, living in a trailer park, working at a call center. Amber was unemployed, living with Patricia. She had been fired from 3 jobs for stealing. Courtney was a waitress, single, unhappy. She had gained weight, lost her looks, lost her confidence. They were all miserable. I should have felt sorry for them. I didn't. I felt something else. Satisfaction, but not enough. Not yet. I hired a lawyer, a pit bull named Sarah. She was the best inheritance attorney in Texas. I wanted to sue Patricia, not for the house, not for the money, for the principal. My father had left a will. Patricia had hidden it. She had forged documents. She had lied to the probate court. I had proof. The private investigator found the original will. It gave me half of everything. The house, the life insurance, the retirement. Patricia had stolen my inheritance. Sarah filed the lawsuit. We sued for fraud, for theft, for emotional distress. Patricia didn't have a lawyer. She couldn't afford one. She represented herself. It was a massacre. I sat in the courtroom. I watched Patricia try to defend herself. She lied. She stumbled. She cried. The judge didn't believe her. You stole from a child, the judge said. You took his father's money. You left him homeless. You should be ashamed. Patricia was ordered to pay me back. With interest. $230,000. She didn't have the money. She couldn't pay. So I took what she had. Her car. Her furniture. Her jewelry. Her bank account. Her future wages. She was garnished for the rest of her life. Tiffany, Amber, and Courtney were named as co-conspirators. They were ordered to pay too. They had nothing. So I took their wages too. They called me, begging, crying. Please, Tiffany said. I have kids. I can't afford this. You should have thought about that before you stole from a 14-year-old boy, I said. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're sorry now. Where were you when I was sleeping in my car? Where were you when I was hungry? She didn't answer. You made your choices, I said. Now you live with them. I hung up. Amber sent me a letter. 5 pages. Apologizing. Explaining. Begging. I threw it away. Courtney showed up at my office in Dallas. She was crying. She looked old. Broken. Please, she said. I'll do anything. Just stop the garnishment. You took my food, I said. You ate my dinner while I watched. Do you remember? She nodded. I remember too. Go home, Courtney. There's nothing you can say. She left. She never came back. The legal battles took 2 years. I won everything. I didn't need the money. I needed the justice. My mother's ring. My father's photo. My dignity. I got them all back. During the lawsuit, I heard from relatives I hadn't spoken to in decades. My father's sister. My mother's brother. Cousins I barely remembered. They had heard about the case. They had heard about my success. Some of them reached out to apologize. We should have helped you, my Aunt Martha said. We knew Patricia was awful. We should have taken you in. Why didn't you? We were cowards. I'm sorry. I forgave her. Not because she deserved it. Because I needed to move on. Some of them reached out for money. I said no. I had learned the difference between helping and being used. A few of them reached out to reconnect. Genuinely. They wanted to know me. To be part of my life. I let them in. Slowly. Carefully. I wasn't the same boy who had left Phoenix. I was a man. A successful man. A man who could choose his own family. I chose wisely. My Aunt Martha became like a mother to me. She came to my birthday parties. She sent me cards on holidays. She cried at my wedding. Yes. I got married. Her name is Rachel. She's a graphic designer. Kind. Patient. She doesn't need my money. She doesn't want my fame. She just wants me. We have a son, David, named after my father. David is 5 years old. He has never been hungry. He has never been homeless. He has never been told he's worthless. I made sure of that. It's been 20 years since I left Patricia's house. I am 38 years old. I have a wife, a son, a house, a career, a future. I am happy, truly happy. Patricia still works at the grocery store. She is 62 years old. She has no savings, no retirement, no family who talks to her. Tiffany lives in a trailer park. Her kids barely speak to her. She works at a call center. She is alone. Amber lives with Patricia. They fight constantly. They blame each other for everything. Courtney is a waitress. She has been married 3 times. Divorced 3 times. She drinks too much. I don't check on them anymore. I don't need to. They are nothing to me. I think about my father sometimes. I visit his grave once a year. I tell him about my life. About Rachel. About David. I made it, Dad, I whisper. I made it without them. I like to think he hears me. If you're watching this and you're struggling, I want you to know something. It gets better. Not because the world changes. Because you change. You work harder. You get smarter. You find people who believe in you. You survive. And one day, you wake up and realize you're not that broken person anymore. You're someone new. Someone stronger. I was homeless. I was hungry. I was broken. Now I'm a husband. A father. A partner in an investment firm. A man who fought for everything he has. You can do it too. Don't give up. Don't let the Patricias of the world win. Fight. Grind. Survive. And one day, you'll look back and realize the struggle was worth it. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to his Reddit Tales for more stories of survival and success. Pause 3 seconds. And if you're hungry, eat something. I always do now.